What's up? Rack Daddies, basically getting it. We're doing a turkey choke review slash turkey shot shell review. I've never done this before. I've never dialed in my shotgun to where it exactly needs to be for turkey season because I'm kind of a new turkey hunter. Within the past like 2 or 3 years, I've really gotten into it heavy. But I got a Mossberg 500 this past year, put a cheap little red dot sight on it from Amazon for like 40-30 bucks. So hopefully it's not junk. But I want to see what the difference is really going to be in a cheaper choke, a more expensive choke, and a cheaper shell and a more expensive shell. And I'm going to go through these prices because one goes from like $1 to $16 a shell. So it can be very expensive, and I want to see what the fuss is about with this TSS and everything. I've used it. I bought it just because I bought into it. Everyone told me to buy it, but I really want to see why it works different, and hopefully these chokes will be solid too. But I got to sight in this thing first, so clearly I'm going to use the cheaper shells to sight this in quick, and we'll get this sucker started. All right, so what I was originally going to do was I was just going to shoot one shell of each because I'm cheap, and then take the best one with the more expensive choke and shoot it to see if it was better. But I got to thinking, and I was like, hey, maybe one of these chokes goes better with a cheaper shell. One goes better with a TSS versus not a TSS. So we're gonna shoot one shot with each of these shells with each choke. So first up, guess we'll start off with the cheaper choke. This is the Hunter Specialties Strut Choke. It was $24, $26 online. I think I literally just got it off Amazon. So let's start off with this guy and let's see how he does. All right, folks, first shell we are shooting with the Hunter Specialty Choke Tube is the Nitro. This was the $1.30 shell. This is a shell that my dad and I used growing up, like when I would go turkey hunting, the little times I did, getting the cheapest thing off a Walmart shelf. So I want to say you can buy these in like a 10-pack, and with the $23 choke tube. So target is downrange, 25 yards. And my turkey chair, I didn't bring my Bog Death Grip because I couldn't find it. So there's a little bit of error, human error possible, but I think we'll be pretty good. All right, 25 yards, you're good enough. Actually lied to y'all too, not gonna go check it out right now. I mean, I'm checking it out, but you're not gonna see it till the end, so that way we can speed through these things. Up next, we got the Double X from Winchester. $2 a shell, so a little bit more expensive, not much. Again, these running like the Nitro, like a 10-pack. So this is like 20 bucks, and I think I got a Cabela's. So let's see how she shoots with the Hunter Specialty Choke. All right, up next, folks, we got the Federal Premium TSS 3rd degree. I don't know what 3rd degree is, maybe like 3rd degree burns, because there's a little flame on the cover. $6.40 a shell. So again, that TSS is going to jack up your price, that tungsten, but we're about to see if she makes a difference with the Hunter Specialties. Whew, I kicked a little more. Good night almighty. Well, this is why you don't buy a cheap scope. I thought this red dot was broke, but it somehow kicked the red dot to like the far right side, and I'm not gonna waste any more money on shells shooting this thing. So quick pause, I got a nice red dot back at home I'm gonna throw on this thing. I just thought I'd be able to get through one turkey season with this thing. So yeah, $25 sights on Amazon, don't buy those, they suck. All right, guys, we're back 3 hours later. It's way hotter. The lighting looks horrible, but I took off my reflex sight, the Picatinny rail, and I had to change my rest on the stock of the gun because I had it up higher so I could look through the red dot better. But we're back to it. We are having the Apex Ammunition's TSS, $12.60 a shot with the Hunter Specialties Strut Choke. Let's see how she performs. Next up now we have the Carlson's Choke Tube, which is $56, and I literally got it off Carlson's website. So I think it was just like choketube.com. We're gonna check this out. This one was 56 bucks. twice the price of the original choke. Again, this is a 12 gauge choke, and it is for my Mossberg 500 series. So let's see how she does. All right, so now that we swapped chokes back to the, or not back to the new Carlson choke tube, we're back to the Nitro. Again, this is $1.30 round, so I don't feel as bad shooting them. That last TSS shot was not good. That was definitely low, but I'm not wasting another round. All right, this is the Winchester Double X with the Carlson choke tube. All right, now we got the Federal Premium 3rd degree shotgun shell with the Carlson choke tube. I can tell you one thing, my accuracy was probably twice as better with the red dot sight before it got kicked off. But I mean, the turkeys are still dying, it's just there is in the center of the paper. But alrighty guys, we got all shots, we got all 8 shots down. I'm not going to compare them here because the lighting ain't great, and I don't know how I'm going to compare them yet. So I'm going to go home, figure out maybe where the center is and compared to the diameter, how far the pelt spread. Again, I'm shooting at 25 yards, and we're going to figure out, A, if the Carlson's worth it for the extra 30 bucks, and if the shells are worth it for the more expensive ones. I'm excited to do some research and figure out what's what, honestly. I've never done this before. I don't even know if I'm doing this right, but I'm experimenting and y'all are checking it out, so let's see.
All right, so I literally filmed this like 2 weeks ago, and I'm just getting around to it. Been busy turkey hunting in Tennessee and Maryland. But I'm gonna make this as quick as I can, and I'm going to go through how I did this. So how I had no idea what I was doing going into this, but I kind of found it, and it kind of makes sense to me. So what I did was I took the turkey target, okay, and I measured out the circumference, like the widest circumference of pretty much where all of the BBs went into, and then I went into where it was a really concentrated circumference, like where the tightest wad of pellets was, and measured that. Then I also measured the number of BBs that hit the turkey on the target. Now, there is definitely human error and human trial or whatever error in this. I don't know what they call it. I'm not a scientist. But I think this is actually going to turn out really solid, and I'm happy with the way things look. So let's get to it and dive in. All right, the Nitro shot, the cheapest shot at $1.30 a shell, with the cheaper choke tube, the Hunter Specialty Strut Choke, had a wide radius of 10 inches and a condensed radius of 7, and 57 pellets hit the head of the turkey, or the body neck area of the turkey. Now for the Carlson choke tube, the radius was actually a touch wider. It was 11 inches, and the condensed radius was 8 inches, which surprised me, but a couple things surprised me with this. Moving on to the Winchester, which was the Double X, which was $2 a shell, with the $23 choke tube, Hunter Specialties, a 15-inch radius, 9 inches of it was condensed, and 85 shots, 85 BBs hit the bird. With the Carlson choke tube sitting at 56 bucks, the radius was 13 inches, dropped by 2, condensed down to 7 inches, dropped by 2, but I only hit the bird with 35 BBs. Now granted, this was me being a bad shot. I shot way up high on this one, but it freaking would have blown its head off. I don't know if that's too bright or not to see. But like you can tell, look how big that hole is right there it put in. I was actually kind of impressed with that. With the Federal TSS, Hunter Specialty Strut Choke Tube, again, a 15-inch radius. I thought it was going to change jumping from a $2 shell to a $6.40 shell. It didn't change a ton other than the amount of pellets in it, but that's because the shot type changed. 15 inches, 8-inch condensed, 136 BBs hit it in the head. Now the more expensive choke tube makes sense. I'm getting a tighter pattern than I thought I would get. A 12-inch radius, 5.5-inch condensed, which is actually one of the tightest ones, and 117 BBs hit the bird. And both of those were pretty solid shots, which it doesn't necessarily make a ton of sense to me, but it does, because I guess with the wider radius, it's going to be hitting different parts of the bird, where the condensed is going to be in one area and not as much is going to hit the bird. So it kind of makes you think a little bit. Maybe you don't need a super condensed. Again, all these shots were at 25 yards. But so then on to the most expensive with the Apex TSS, sitting at $12.60 a shell, with the Hunter Specialty Strut Choke, 12-inch radius, with a 7-inch condensed radius, 191 pellets hit it. Again, this is a 9 shots. This is way different than the 4, 5, and 6 shots we were shooting. And then with the Carlson choke tube, you're seeing a little bit tighter in the condensed area here. It was around 12 and a half for the radius, but the condensed radius was 6 inches, and I could see a good size difference. And the number of shot on the bird was 211. Now, the only problem with the Hunter Specialty Choke was that I did not put that great of a shot on it. It was after my red dot blew up and I took it off, and I was just shooting with the bead sight on it. But and I didn't want to do it again because I did not want to waste $12.40 on another shell when I could use that on a turkey this year. So apologies, but I just wanted to save some money. So clearly, based off these stats, the more expensive Carlson choke tube, sitting at $56 for the choke, and the $12.40 Apex TSS, is going to be giving that tighter pattern, more condensed, and more shot in the bird. I mean, a 9 shot, I do love that. I like that there's more BBs hitting that bird. But if I had a personal preference, to be honest with you, I was really impressed with that Federal TSS. I don't know if I should be impressed by the way it tore up paper, but it looked like it tore it up pretty good with the Hunter Specialty Choke too. I kind of like that wider range for what I do. So with us filming hunts, I mean, I always want that bird as close as I can. So if I got like a condensed 8-inch radius of BBs flying out at 25 yards, I mean, I'm pretty happy with that. 6 inches and 5.5 with that Carlson choke, that's freaking tight. What it's good for when you're going to poke out at them, but I was super happy with the Hunter Specialty Choke and the Federal TSS because A, saving money. You're saving over $30 on the choke, and you're also literally saving what, $6 a shell, and it's still giving you that great effect that TSS does. So that's my findings on it. So what I'm going to be hooked up with the rest of the year, I'm going to screw that Hunter Specialty Choke on, strut choke, and I'm going to be shooting that Federal TSS. But then when I run out of it, I'm of course probably going to bounce to the Apex. But since I have so many shells, what I do, it's kind of stupid, maybe kind of funny. I put in my TSS round first, my shell, and then the rest of them I put either the Nitro or the Winchester, a cheaper round in, because if you miss the first shot, chances of you hitting the second shot aren't going to be that great. Now, I got a history with a good second shot because somehow I always miss the first shot. Like, I just hit a fence post the other week in Tennessee. My second shot, I rolled them. But, yeah, kind of funny. These are my findings. I hope this was helpful for y'all, and we're definitely going to be doing some more of this because I learned a lot based out of this. Never patterned a shotgun in my life before till now. So, yeah. I hope this was helpful, and check out one of our latest hunts. We're getting ready to start posting our spring turkey hunts on here, and can't be more excited about it. These birds are giving me the runaround in Maryland right now, so hopefully tomorrow morning I'm going to be smashing one in the face.